Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 2. Last episode, I basically just kind of laid the groundwork of who I am, I guess I should say welcome back to the Emerging Path podcast. And my name is Brooke, your host, and basically the first episode was just kind of me laying the groundwork on who I am, how I ended up in Hawaii, being from a small town in Massachusetts, and just the emerging path and what I'm going to talk about. And I guess, or like where this podcast is going to go. I don't know, as it emerges. So today's theme is going to be boundaries and saying no and momentum. Momentum often begins with a really powerful no. So I found myself in a habit of saying yes and feeling left drained and feeling drained from it. And one of those habits, which I guess we're just going to jump right into the episode, is I had a relationship with Mary Jane. I'm not going to say the word because it gets flagged on YouTube or whatever. So I've had an on-again, off-again relationship with her since I was 16 years old, I believe. And I'm 34 for context. And it's been almost a month of me saying no to her. And it's been really powerful for me. That's a boundary that I needed to set and just kind of get clear-headed for me. And not saying that there's anything wrong with it, recreational, medicinal, however you use it, no judgment, no shade. But for me, in this season of life and where I want to go and where I see myself going, it was a handicap for me, and I needed to say no. And there were a lot of fears associated with it because a lot of it was just honestly just habit. And I just, I needed to say no. Sorry, I've got lots of notes, so bear with me. And this isn't about rules or restrictions. It's about energy is basically what I'm talking about. And if you've ever felt stuck, drained, or overwhelmed, I hope this episode is going to help you see that momentum often begins with a really powerful no. So, what in your life do you need to say no to? You pretty much know, not to call you out, but we all know what our problems are for the most part. Of course, there's going to be subconscious stuff that hidden blocks that we can't see until we're ready to deal with them, which I feel like is definitely a big thing. So what in your life do you need to say no to? Not too long ago I noticed I was saying no, I was saying yes to things out of habit, work, social invitations as well, even little requests that I didn't actually have the energy for. And what I found was that the more I said yes when I didn't mean it, the less energy I had for the things that actually mattered to me and what path I wanted to go down. And one of those paths is entrepreneurship and being a podcaster. And I found myself just getting really distracted and feeling excited about all these things and opportunities, but not actually focusing on the one thing that I actually want, which is entrepreneurship. And was allowing these habits and distractions to get in the way of that. And the shift came really when I started practicing saying no. And no to social invitations, no to work. I set up a new work schedule and it really works for me. And it's helped breathe new life into me and helped me actually start doing what I actually want to do instead of just freaking talking about it and blabbing on about it. And it's not a harsh no. It's not to be mean, but to be honest. And that no has created a lot of space. Like, I'm actually doing it. Like, I've already posted one episode. We're recording the second. I still need to post it. But I'm holding myself accountable and fucking going for it, man, because I want to. And it's time. And I want to integrate, because I'm fascinated with astrology and also human design. So I'm going to kind of look at this through the lens of astrology. So I'm an Aries sun. I love starting new things. So that's like, so Aries is the first of the astrological signs. So I have very much, Aries tends to have childlike energy, because I'm the youngest. I have a spark about life. This is the fire in me, where I just am very fiery. I love starting new things. I love jumping in, and sometimes I can just want to go. But not every spark is meant to be a fire. And that's something that I have to continue to learn and continue to remind myself, is that I get very excited very easily, like a child. And I get distracted by shiny new things and shiny new objects and opportunities, people, hobbies, job opportunities, whatever. And I have to remind myself to have that filter and the boundaries and the no, so I can focus on what wildfire I want to start and what wildfire like is true to me and sets my soul on fire. So again, podcasting, entrepreneurship. And with my Leo moon, I have a strong emotional need to be seen and to be appreciated, to express myself. And if I don't set boundaries, I can burn myself out by giving away too much. And that's something that I've struggled with for sure. I would say the being seen part is not from an ego standpoint of like, I need to be the center of attention, but I just naturally gravitate towards attention. I'm drama. Again, Leo is fire. But I need to make sure that I'm being seen for who I really am, like authentically, and not people just seeing what they like and then wanting to almost like be like energy vampires. If you've heard that term before, and just kind of like steal my light because they like the shiny object, but they don't like what made the shiny object, if that makes sense. And I'm also a Cancer rising. So this is where the tears come in, as we saw in the first episode. Whether I am over a 7, like on a scale of 1 to 10 on the emotional scale, if I'm over a 7, like being extremely happy, or under a 3, I'm fucking crying. Like, I'm a crier. And I remember meeting somebody one day, and he asked me what my signs were. And when I told him I was a Cancer rising, he was like, so do you cry like every single day? And I was like, yeah. Like, not like big dramatic tears, but I can easily watch a video, a reel. Like, I love I love the golden buzzer moments for America's Got Talent, I think. Or Britain's Got Talent, whatever the fucking show is. And those generally make me cry because I'm like, yay, they're going for their dreams. I love it. But being a Cancer rising, I naturally attract people who feel comforted by me, people who want to lean on my sensitivity. So boundaries become my protection. They're not walls, they're just filters, so I can actually shine brighter and keep nurturing without depleting myself and my energy. So again, boundaries, learning to say no, and just looking at the guide. So if you're into astrology, I would recommend, looking at your chart and thinking about your sun, moon, and rising, and how do they show up in your energy and your boundaries. Okay. And I also am into human design, which incorporates astrology and numerology. So I am a projector is my energy type, which there's 5 energy types. And again, I'm not saying this like I'm some expert or I'm trained in any of this. These are just things that I've learned that have helped me and that I find interesting as a tool to like learn about yourself and your energy. So human design, I'm a projector, and as a projector, the thing about my energy is it isn't built for constant doing like the other energy types. So what that means is, a great analogy that I heard is I'm a surfer. I have to wait for the wave, so for the energy to come to me, and then once I catch the wave, and then I can ride it forever. Not forever, but until, I can maximize it. So I can get a lot done in short bursts, like unlike other energy types. And other energy types have like they're generators or manifestor generators. I'm not quite sure about reflectors. I don't know what type energy they are, but the other energy types are the paddle boarders. Like they can just go and go and go and go and go and keep paddling until they're not having fun anymore, basically, or whatever. So for me, in my energy type, it's especially crucial that I protect it and that I rest, and that, like, for example, like I get into bed before I'm tired, like so I can unwind in bed and relax, and that's when I get my best sleep and best energized. Sorry, you probably hear the neighbors and the landscapers, whoever's outside, but hopefully you just hear the birds. Yeah, so because of that, I have to be, again, really mindful about my boundaries. If I say yes to everything, I will burn out so quickly, and my magic only comes alive when I'm protecting my energy and waiting for the right invitations. That's one, and the invitations that truly recognize me. So like to circle it back to my Leo moon is not people like watching the movie and like seeing all the accolades and like the money and the fandom, the stardom of the actor or actress, but like truly enjoying the craft of what does it take to get into character, like the script writing, or like the camera angles, like how they cut and edit, like they understand and like they appreciate what goes into the final product. And then there's the authority type, which is like how I make my decisions. And I'm a splenic authority. So my decision making is very intuitive. It's this quiet in the moment knowing that just says yes, that this is right, or no, this isn't. It doesn't come back later, and it's a one-time whisper. So boundaries are what help me trust and act on that voice instead of people pleasing or ignoring my instincts. So again, boundaries, knowing how to say no, and also being clear-headed. So like to circle back to the beginning of the first powerful no, which was saying no to Mary Jane, and protecting and keeping my head clear so that I can intuitively tune into my body, into my splenic energy, and trust that first gut instinct. Because I very much thrive off of making decisions off my gut instincts, and they don't always make logical sense in like the 3D, but energetically, like for example, like moving to Hawaii, I knew instantly that like I was going to be moving here, and I had to protect my boundaries. And like part of that was I didn't tell my family until 2 weeks before I moved here. And I had planned it 4 months in advance. And part of that is not letting other people's thoughts and opinions and fears get into the way of the life I wanted to live and the vision that I saw for myself and what made sense for my soul and my energy and the path that I wanted to go on. And sorry, family, if you're watching or listening, no offense. But I needed to make this decision for me and for nobody else. And I'm coming up on 2 years, and it's the best fucking decision I've made of my life thus far. 100% hands down. And I don't say that to brag or to be like, oh, look at me, like I'm living in this amazing tropical island paradise, or that like I'm whatever. But as a like follow, like say yes to what excites you, but like also know yourself enough to know, are you making that decision for you and because it's authentic to you, or because you saw the shiny object and you just want the shiny object? And yeah. And then there's also this thing called profile in human design, and I'm a 1-3 profile. So it's quite literally like investigator. So like I love to research the fuck out of shit, but I also learn by trial and error. So like, which is ironic because it's like the two sides of one coin, if you will. And being okay with both sides of that. So I literally, part of my path is I learn by experimenting and by sometimes getting it wrong. But where I get it wrong is where the biggest wisdom comes for me. And that's where I'm able to share it with people in my life, this podcast community, and wherever else this may lead me on my emerging path. And instead of beating myself up for it, I've had to really come to terms with that and realize that's where the wisdom comes, and that's how life works for me. And when I talk about momentum, I don't mean forcing or hustling. I mean that feeling when you're aligned and when things flow and when the right opportunities just show up. And like I was aligned with my move to Hawaii. So I was resisting at first because I thought I had to get like all this stuff in place, or I needed to change who I was before I actually moved here to become the person I want. I like envisioned myself like that dream girl I want to be, or dream woman, since I'm 34. But yeah, like I really was aligned with that decision. I trusted the instinct of moving here, and literally everything fell into place for me. And like I found my cute little studio that I'm living in, and my neighborhood, and like meeting the aunties and the uncles, and then like taking the time to, when I got here, to like acclimate and adjust and immerse myself in the culture and the community. And then I was trying and erroring on different jobs when I first got here. But it was funny because my Uber driver that picked me up from the airport, she told me to take my time with finding a job. And she was like, and honestly, the first job you get is probably not the job you're going to want. And she was correct. And now I've been working at this awesome restaurant. I mean, it's 100% not perfect. Nothing in life is, but it's totally perfect for me in the season that I'm at. And I'm able to support my financial needs, my emotional needs. I have a flexible schedule. There's like over 300 fucking employees that work there, so it meets my social needs. And it's totally perfect for me right here, right now. And I still have my human moments where I get fucking frustrated at like not getting tipped or getting irritated when their food gets fucked up. But guess what? I signed up for that job. I'm a server and I'm there to serve. Anywho, that's a little side tangent soapbox. So just to kind of keep talking on and beating this like a dead horse, momentum comes from protecting our energy. When we stop leaking energy into the things that don't serve us, suddenly we have clarity, we have energy. We can actually say yes to the right things that don't serve us. Suddenly we have clarity and we have the energy. Oh, I think I wrote that twice. And we have energy, we can actually say yes to the right things. And I'm in this like sweet spot of like, I feel like I'm like on that up curve. I forget what it's called. But where like things are starting to exponentially progress for me. I mean, there hasn't been like drastic changes, but I'm starting to see the signs and the results and the shift of my energy once I started saying no to Miss Mary Jane, and how it's like compounded in my life just in a month. And I'm super excited to see what happens in 2 months or 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. Or maybe I go back to it someday, or I have a new relationship with it where I don't feel like I want to do it every single day and all day, or I do it socially with friends or whatever the situation may be, and not judging myself on the path that changes. And to think of it this way is every no is a yes to something else. And a no to people pleasing might be a yes to your creativity or your dreams. A no to a distraction might be a yes to your dream. Like, I recently started playing pickleball, and I've been invited to play like every single day. There's these public pickleball courts near my apartment, and I've had to say no because I want to do this. I want to have the space and the energy and the clarity to say yes to this, to make this my full-time job, to make this my full-time career, to build a community and talk about things that I care about or that I find interesting or whatever. And so like saying no to those distractions, even though they're fun, they're really fun, but what would be more fun to me right now in this moment is seeing the fruits of my labor and seeing those seeds that I planted however many years ago, months ago, weeks ago, days ago, hours ago, turn into a big, beautiful Rapunzel and see what happens and comes from it. So yeah. And so here are some questions, some journaling questions, because I like to journal, I like to write. We can do this together. So where am I saying yes in my body when my body is actually saying no or telling me to say no? And what would happen, what would open up for me if I honored one boundary today? How can I better trust my body's signals when it's saying yes or no? And for me, one practice has been saying no to late nights and keeping my mornings open and clear so that I have the space and the energy to record. And that's funny. So I was talking about, squirrel moment. I definitely believe in signs and synchronicities because energy cannot be created or destroyed, and for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And as I was just talking about building community and whatnot, a white feather just flew into my apartment and onto my bed. And feathers are a symbol for community, if I remember correctly, or maybe I'm just making this up. And also like ancestors and stuff like that, angels are around you. So that was pretty cool. And yeah. And let's pull a card, and I'm feeling called to pull from my animal spirit deck because I like animals. All right, let's pull a card. I guess we got two. So we got two cards here. First, we have the Eagle and the Stingray. So let's find the Eagle. I forget what the signs mean. So Eagle is representing an air sign. So Eagle, all-pervading power, truth seeker, transforms karma. It's kind of like the keywords. It says, the noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You're stronger than you think, eagle child. It says, when in balance, bright, radiant, challenges. When out of balance, controlling. To bring into balance, step into the unknown. Which is quite funny because on my personal Instagram page, I posted a quote that was posted by Spirit Daughter on Instagram, and it was like quote of the week for your sign, and I'm an Aries sun, and how I was talking about fire, and the sign said that I don't know enough about the unknown to be scared to jump into it. Interesting. Okay, now for the Stingray, which represents water, I believe. Yes, it is water. So, developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The Stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends make that decision even more complicated no matter what the choice is made now. No matter what choice is made now. It's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as this force of as the force of Dharma growing within the Stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. So for me, that's me pursuing podcasting and getting through the discomfort of finding my online voice and finding the spine to put myself out there and be vulnerable and to push past the cringy moments of me flipping through the pages, reading off my notes, and fear of being judged by people at work or my family or friends or whomever, and being brave enough to keep posting and to keep going because I want to. And so, yeah. Those were today's cards. So I'm going to leave this with you is boundaries are not about pushing people away. Boundaries are sacred. Every no is an act of self-trust, and every yes becomes even more powerful. So repeat this with me if it resonates. My no is powerful. My yes is sacred. Boundaries create my momentum. So yeah, that's today's episode on the Emerging Path podcast. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe, comment, reach out. I love feedback. I want to connect. So yeah, let's keep it going.